dai deserti arabi verso un gioiello incastonato nel mare scintillante. L'isola, sede di una cultura antica, una bellezza senza paragoni. Ma il cambiamento sta arrivando. Il caldo sta aumentando e il fuoco non mostra pietà. Mentre nuvole di cenere raggiungono terre lontane, ma i nostri guerrieri non hanno paura. Corriamo per il cambiamento, per il futuro, per l'isola.
Prepare to be aggressive.
Hyperdrive now.
A rugged landscape set in the Mediterranean Sea. Turquoise waters crash onto its shores and rocky terrain covers its trails. The scene is set for Extreme E's Island X Prix, and it's all still to race for as the first ever double-header of the championship gets underway. But first, a look back at the otherworldly landscape of Saudi Arabia, which saw the drivers take on sand dunes, ruts and rocks in the hunt for the first win of the season. The action was dramatic from the off, with a huge crash for Christine GZ in qualifying. New entrants McLaren marked their debut with a stunning Crazy Race win.
What a drive from McLaren!
In the final, Carlos Sainz led Sebastian Loeb of X44 after the first corner, but a coming together brought out the red flag.
Massive crash! It's McLaren!
At the restart, RXR's Johan Kristoffersson quickly caught and passed X44's Christina Gutierrez before hunting down Laia Sanz to take the win. As the St. Helena travels from the Middle East to the Mediterranean and moors in Sardinia, what awaits the drivers is the trying terrain of the island which they know only too well.
So it's the first time in this championship we come back to the same track here in Sardinia. We are in nearly desert condition. It's very, very hot and it's super dusty. So hopefully we are in front, that we don't have to eat the dust of the others.
I think they made a good preparation of the track. So we will see still some very different options on the start line. Difficult to know which one is the best.
One of my favourite parts is the new last sector, Sector 4. It's super fast, super flowing, some jumps in there. I think, you know, it's fun to drive on your own, but it's going to be pretty intense when we've got a lot of cars around us.
There's quite a lot of different terrains. You have 2 water splashes that we need to go through, and then we also have some really hard packed surfaces, but also we have some bumps and we have some jumps. And last year the track was changing quite a lot during the whole event. This time we're having a double header.
Yeah, it adds a lot of pressure. That first weekend, you have to focus on leaving yourself a good car. You really hope that you keep the car in one piece so everybody can be focused on improving for the next round rather than just recovering.
The track is very, very fast here. It's a lot of high-speed sections, and I think it will be quite difficult to overtake.
A lot more compliant with the bumps and the jumps out on course. I think we will see less mistakes. I think we will see even tighter racing.
So the sun is scorching, it's going to be a hot one, it's going to be a dusty one, but here in Sardinia, we're ready for it, so bring it on.
Extreme E is a fully electric off-road championship racing on the most challenging terrains across the globe. 10 world-class teams, each fielding one male and one female driver in gender-equal lineups. In each session, both drivers will compete behind the wheel of the Odyssey 21 electric SUV with a driver changeover, the switch, halfway through. Each driver gets an Enoir hyperdrive boost in every session, giving them an increase in power to provide thrilling overtakes. There are also bonus points available for the fastest team through the Continental Traction Challenge section of the course over the weekend. Day 1 is qualifying, with a round of time trials followed by a round of head-to-head races. This decides how teams line up for Day 2's racing. Day 2 sees high-speed knockout racing with the goal of reaching the final. First up is the 2 semi-finals, where the top 2 teams progress from each. Then it's the last chance to progress in the winner-takes-all crazy race. The 5-car main event sees the teams battle it out to be crowned X-Prix winner. The team with the most points after 5 races will be crowned Extreme E champions. With the track set and the teams ready to go, it was time for the drivers to head out for qualifying round 1. First out on the course for the single-car timed runs was Extreme E champions and Race 1 winners RXR. Michaela Arling-Kotelinski was pushing hard, setting a breathtaking benchmark time on lap 1 before handing over to Johan Kristoffersen. Having taken the Island X-Prix victory in Season 1, Johan was confident, and their overall time would be hard to beat. In XE's inaugural season, the Island X-Prix course proved itself as the most brutal on the calendar, and this time out was no different. Veloce's Lance Woolridge was looking fast, but suffered a mechanical failure after sending it over the bumps. Before the Sardinian terrain laid claim to another victim.
Problem for Tanner Faust. It looks like the suspension has gone on that McLaren. You can see he is fuming.
A team looking for redemption in Sardinia was the Hummer EV Chip Ganassi racing team. They led by a huge 45 seconds in the final in Season 1, before the track proved too much for the car to handle and saw them stopped in their tracks. Sarah Price was flat out on her opening lap, but coming in the switch zone, disaster struck when a battery systems issue meant they couldn't go any further.
Unluckiest team in Extreme E. Come on!
Are you serious?
X44 were next out and looking to extend their unbeaten qualifying run. Loeb was out first and flying through the Continental Traction Challenge, setting the fastest time so far.
Loeb absolutely flying. That is Sebastian Loeb all over.
But not long after, their hopes of extending their qualifying streak came to an end.
Oh, puncture! The tyre's taken the bodywork off. I think that's what's happened, and he's flailing, so the carcass of the tyre is completely gone.
A quick tyre change by Loeb and an engineer meant Christina could head back out. But the damage was already done. A P2 finish in round 1 had given the Acciona Sainz team a sense of momentum. Laia Sanz was looking rapid before a mistake over the bumps cost her time. Carlos Sainz took to the wheel and put together a lap good enough to secure them P2. Genesis Andretti United also came close. 2 clean and fast laps from Timmy Hansen and Katie Munnings put them up into 3rd. But it was RXR who went first and finished first in qualifying 1. Extreme E chooses its race locations very carefully. All the sites face some of the biggest threats on planet Earth. The island of Sardinia is prone to devastating wildfires caused by the hot, dry weather linked to climate change. That's why this round the drivers are racing for Wildfire's resilience. Extreme E's Peter Wadhams, who forms part of the championship's scientific committee, explains the importance of eliminating these deadly wildfires and preserving green carbon.
Green carbon is carbon that's contained in processes involving living plants, and you tried to study how much carbon is dissolved in plants or controlled by plants, how much comes out of plants, because the plant that it's coming out of could itself, for instance, catch fire, and that's the end of your plant as a CO2 absorber, it becomes a CO2 emitter, and that's really quite a worrying thing.
In the last decade, as well as in Sardinia, wildfires have raged in North America, Australia, Indonesia and the Amazon, though the impact can be felt the world over.
You can often trace the immediate cause back to man, but the larger cause is really the fact that the climate has been warming up extremely, and we've been getting sufficient heat to almost cause spontaneous combustion. Globally, the wildfires are really serious as far as causing sea level rise to accelerate. And this is something we've been studying with another project with Extreme E, which has been to work on top of the Greenland ice sheet. There we take samples of the ice sheet, which is not only made of ice, but it's made of dirt and soot from wildfires that have deposited their material on top of the ice sheet, and makes the ice sheet darker and darker, called black ice, which is very, very absorptive of radiation. Instead of having your ice sheet simply radiating out into space, it's getting warmer and you're getting CO2 released from the fact that you're getting hotter ice warming up quicker.
When a forest burns, it releases a huge amount of CO2 into our atmosphere. 1.3 gigatons of CO2 was recorded in August of last year, the highest on record in 1 month. It is part of a vicious cycle that is only getting worse. The UN has predicted a 57% increase in devastating wildfires by the end of the century.
When we talk about the amount of carbon dioxide which we as a human species release, it's something like 40 gigatons a year, and that's enough to really cause the global CO2 level to keep rising and give us warmer and warmer climate. So we've got to get rid of 40 gigatons a year if we want to save the world. At the moment, the response to wildfire warnings is really just reactive. It's like everything with climate change, that some terrible thing starts to happen and we don't do anything until it's already happening and it's too late.
Extreme E's all-electric, all-terrain SUV, the Odyssey 21, was first introduced to the world back in 2019 at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. And ahead of making the journey to Sardinia, both the Veloce and Genesis Andretti United cars were taking on the famous hill climb.
We have just arrived here in Goodwood at the Festival of Speed, and a fantastic atmosphere here.
It's Timmy's first Goodwood as well, so I'm super excited to show him around. I've been here a few times, but it's the first time that we have our Extreme E car here. We're going up the hill, which is probably not its natural environment, but it's really cool for the fans to see it.
I think the car will be fast, we've got loads of power, but maybe missing a couple jumps and bumps to beat the other cars. But we're going to have a lot of fun here, and most important is we beat Veloce, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It was time for Timmy to take the hill, and despite strict instructions to keep to the tarmac, he couldn't contain his off-road instincts.
Oh, hang on. It's Timmy Hansen in the car this time.
To kind of find my own line, I cut off across the grass. Apparently it's not allowed. We're used to just finding the shortest route in Extreme E, between waypoints, and I went through turn 1 and I thought it's closer to just go across the grass here, but I'm not allowed to do that again. It's a pretty fast track, faster than I was expecting really. Narrow for such a big car that we got. Really, I'm just here to enjoy driving up there. We're here for the fans, to get up close, see this electric off-road vehicle. We don't have fans at races, so it's really cool to be able to meet a few of them. We've seen it on TV.
That's rapid, isn't it? For something so big, that moves really fast.
Wow. There we go. So cool. It's like a spaceship on wheels.
Yeah. It's fantastic to see. They're so fast. Obviously on the hill climb it looks quite normal, but up close they're enormous.
I think think it's a bit like a big RC car. It definitely makes a noise as well, so I think it's quite cool.
With hill climb rookie Timmy having shown the Odyssey 21's lawn mowing capabilities, it was time to hand over to Goodwood regular Katie Munnings.
I love Goodwood. It brings back so many memories. I've been coming for years, standing and watching the hill climb and the speed, and it's such an amazing atmosphere. We're having a bit of fun on the hill. Nothing too serious, as the cars are all going to Sardinia on Monday, but we're going to be having some fun and setting some times up the hill.
Cars and drivers, bikes and riders, to the assembly area. Thank you all.
They're calling me now, so I better go.
Timmy, look at you! Oh, I wish I could show from this angle. You're like such a dad.
Smile, Katie.
Hi.
Yeah, it looks quicker than me.
Not sure this is designed for Goodwood Hill. Like other stuff is like, oh, you're sort of tiptoeing around, whereas this, you kind of go across grass. You can...
Did you cut across the grass?
A little bit, like a wheel. I didn't do it, Timmy. I didn't.
That's it for Goodwood 2022. It was really fun to go up the hill. It's been amazing for people to see the car in real life, and I think that that's been the main thing. Everyone said how big it was, and to wave at the fans as we go up the hill has been something special. So I look forward to next year.
With the thrill of being back behind the wheel after a short break in the race season, the drivers are all focused on one thing, and that's winning. But for X44's Christina Gutierrez, it was important in Sardinia to take a step back from the competition and reminisce on where it all began.
I started in motorsport, not in motorsport, in little cars and motorbikes when I was 4 years old, because my father loves this world, and he put me in a motorbike when I was 4 years old. And when I was 6 years old, I asked to my father to please give me your car and give me his car. The car of my father, it was 4x4. It's not little, so you can see a little girl inside a big car, so it was funny. Sometimes I said that my father sometimes is a little bit crazy, because if I were mother one day, I don't know if I give to my son or to my daughter a car, or a little motorbike. So my father is very open, and he believed in me from the beginning of my life, so this is nice. In 2015, the FIA gave us the opportunity to 13 girls to go to Qatar to compete there, and to find three girls to go to the World Cup. The teacher was Utah, so it was very nice to see Utah here again. After that, I started to believe in myself to go to Rally Dakar. Another highlight maybe is this last year, because I broke my 3 vertebrae in the back. I made a very fast recovery to go to Greenland. I won the World Cup in cross country in T3 T3 category, and then we finished third in Dakar in the same category. So for me, the last year maybe is the best one. It's curious, but I am dentist, because I share my professional career in motorsport. I share with a professional career in the university. I see all my patients, and everyone is very curious about the motorsport, because sometimes it's, but you are the girl who ride in blah blah blah, and I said, yes, I mean. When you race, you need to go fast, and when you see the teeth, maybe it's better to go slowly. I love to continue motorsport, continue in this world, because I love. It's a big step, as I want to someday win the Dakar. For me, it was obviously Extreme, and Dakar now are my goals, and I want to win.
After a tough Q1 for X44, Christina would be looking to make amends. She lined up for the first 5-car battle of the week as they headed out for Q2.
Away from the line then, dust kicks up over on the right-hand side. Christopherson pushing across, because it is RXR who come out in front. Christopherson runs over the rocks.
Through on the inside, it's Kyle LeDuc.
LeDuc managed to pass Scheider there on the brakes, so Scheider still on his right-hand side, looking behind Kyle LeDuc there. Timo Scheider looking for a way through. Munnings going to have to keep the door shut. That was a great move from Kyle LeDuc. No!
Oh no, not another problem for LeDuc.
No, Kyle LeDuc sitting in the car, stationary again. They cannot get a break. There's 2 events here this week. You know, maybe we'll see a change in their luck. Now Scheider looking for a bypass. Munnings in his sights around the outside. No pass this time.
Munnings is doing a fantastic job of just holding off, making that Odyssey 21 so wide. Is this an opportunity for Scheider? He's trying to find a way around. He does find a way. On the outside, he goes through and he overtakes Munnings. Can Munnings come back? That's the question.
RXR led as the teams entered the switch. And with the Chip Ganassi car stopped out on track, it was Sebastian Loeb who made up the most ground ahead of the yellow flag zone.
Now we're in the go-slow zone, basically on their pit limiters through here, and Loeb's there. He's got to the back of them. He's braked late into that section.
Loeb's looking for an alternate route round to just see, what can I do here? Can I get round? He's trying to overtake.
Loeb's managed to get past Hansen, but are they going to get a penalty?
Having dispatched Timmy Hansen with that controversial move, Loeb set his sights on Tamara Molinaro in second place.
Alternate line being used by Loeb. He's trying something else, going high.
Up the inside, Sebastian Loeb gets it done on the brakes. Molinaro did well, but he set that up, didn't he, from a long, long way back.
It is RXR. They come down to the line. What a race.
RXR may have taken the win, but Loeb's yellow flag antics was the talk of the paddock.
I know what I did. It was under the yellow flag, I was behind Timmy. On the flag where the yellow was finished, I accelerated faster than him and I passed.
I was exiting, you know, my pit speed limiter right on the limit. So yeah, he had way more speed than me, exiting the slow zone. So it's a big surprise.
Rule, you know, it's a clear rule. You can't overtake in a yellow. Everyone knows that. So.
No penalty for X44 was the decision by the stewards. And with RXR having secured top spot overall, it was a battle for P2 as the other half of the field took to the course. A hard-fought battle off the start saw all 5 teams jostle for position, but it was El Matador, Carlos Sainz, who came out on top. Despite falling to 3rd off the start, Tanner Faust took an alternate line en route to waypoint 3. Cruising past Veloce, he began hunting down the Acciona Sainz car ahead.
Onboard Carlos Sainz, look at him through this narrow section towards the end of the Continental Traction Challenge. He's being chased by Tanner Faust, needs to get as close as he can. Remember, they're going to come into the switch zone and swap drivers in the middle of this run.
Coming into the switch, Tanner had kept McLaren in touching distance of P1.
So it's a 6-second gap between Acciona Sainz and Neon McLaren. You then got 12 seconds back from McLaren to Veloce Racing.
A fight for the win lay ahead for Emma Gilmore and McLaren, but a battle in the switch zone wasn't what she had planned.
Lance has pulled out. So what's happened there? I think Veloce have released that car early, but we'll see.
Having dropped to 3rd in the switch, poor visibility in the dust meant Emma struggled to maintain pace. But at the front, Laia Sands was in control.
This is a brilliant performance by Acciona Sainz, and it's going to see them confirmed as P2 in qualifying as well. Brilliant drive by Sainz and Sands. Oh, McLaren coming under threat here. So Gilmore is coming under threat from Kevin Hansen on the run to the finish line. She should just about hold on. She does. Ahead of them, Veloce, of course, but we're expecting Woolridge to get a hefty penalty from that switch zone infringement.
Veloce received a 10-second penalty for speeding in the switch zone, dropping them behind McLaren and JBXE. So, RXR took P1, followed by Acciona Sainz and X44. That huge final push from Kevin Hansen for JBXE proved key in them taking the last spot in the semi-finals on day 2. Next time on Electric Odyssey, Extreme E revisit their legacy project in Sardinia and trial groundbreaking technology to help with early detection of wildfires. Plus, all the race action from the semi-finals, including frustration from X44 and an epic display by JBXE, which left driver Kevin Hansen full of emotion.
It's been very tough, and being back like this, it means the world.